Hello everyone, my name is Pavel Gonowski and I'm the e-commerce optimization guy. Today I'm going to tell you why you're making 3 times less revenue from your mobile devices than you really should and what can you do about it. It was already 2019, in fact it was beginning around January and it was Friday afternoon when I got an email from one of my clients with a bit of a troubling title. It read, "Pavel, what the fuck?" And this is kind of emails that you love getting at 5:15. You're about to leave your office, but bam, then you get it. What could I do? I went straight to reading it. And this is what Christoph wrote me. You know that I'm a huge fan of you guys as you deliver one uplift after another, but, and here comes this but, as it comes always in such emails, I wanted to see how we fared in 2018. So I went to Google Analytics, I logged in, I checked how 2018 compared to 2017, and what surprised me was that in 2018 conversion rate was in fact lower than in 2017. So that doesn't add up for me. Please call me when you have a minute. Well, hopefully I read the PS where he told me that he used only this title to grab my attention, so I knew that he wasn't completely pissed off. So what could I do? Well, I could use one of the suggestions from Gmail that told me to reply with "congratulations," "whoa," or "haha, thanks." But what I did instead is I went to his Google Analytics to check if he was right. So I log into his Google Analytics, select his profile, compare the data ranges, go to the right profile, and damn, was he right. The conversion rate went down by 21.5%. So I really thought that, well, we really might have a problem here. But then another idea crossed my mind that, hey, in 2018, Christoph truly leveraged social media advertising. So I wondered, how was conversion rate from mobile devices in comparison to desktop devices? As you can see, his overall conversion rate went down by 21.5%, but on both mobile and desktop, conversion rate went up on mobile by over 12% and on desktop by over 11%. So how did it happen? Simple. When you look at conversion rate on mobile and compare it to the conversion rate on desktop, you will quickly learn that it's over 3 times lower. And because he was leveraging heavily traffic from mobile devices, which went up by over 500%. This mobile traffic that was converting way lower diluted the better converting desktop traffic. And this is the situation that I see more and more often with my clients. Someday in the past 12 to 24 months, their mobile conversion rate surpassed desktop traffic and surpassed it by a huge margin. Overall benchmarks state that around 70% of traffic comes from mobile devices and only 30% from desktop devices. So what that means is that there is 2 times more traffic coming from mobile devices than on desktop devices. But when you look into the money that you're making, the revenue that you're generating, you'll quickly learn that desktop is responsible for 80% of dollars that you're making, the euros that you're making, and mobile is responsible only for 20%. There is a huge difference between the share of traffic, the eyeballs that you get from mobile devices, and the share of revenue that is generating. And this difference is what we call the mobile gap. The main reason for this mobile gap is the conversion rate, which is 3 times lower on mobile devices in comparison to desktop devices. And 3 times lower conversion rate means that you're making 3 times lower revenue. And why is that? Because revenue equals traffic times conversion rate times average order value. So if one of the parts of this equation, namely conversion rate, is 3 times lower, we find ourselves in a situation where there is lots of mobile traffic, shitty conversion rates in the world where we compete for users' attention. Because when user is looking for the swatch and he gets a notification from Instagram, he goes to this new experience to check who has liked his latest photo, but instead of going back to the shopping experience, he continues scrolling the feed because it's so much more interesting. And it happens all the time again on mobile devices because we've got notification from Facebook, we got notification from Instagram, from LinkedIn, from YouTube. We are constantly bombarded with new notifications, and this content is so much more interesting than shopping. And this is something that you cannot do much about. This is the world that we are living in, and you cannot influence this. But what you can influence is your website, the experience that you provide to your users. And today I'm going to show you 3 main mistakes that lead to lower conversion rate and how you can improve them. And I'm not talking about some obvious ones like the ones from Atomic. I was looking for new skis on Atomic websites, I click on one of their products, and what I get is a 404. And you're like, where the hell is the page I'm looking for? I'm going to tell you about 3 real reasons why users are not converting on mobile pages. Reason number 1, it's difficult to browse and discover products on mobile. So $1 million question here. Where is the menu? I have completely no idea. In fact, when you tap into the search box, then there is the place where you'll find the menu. And this is not something that users are accustomed to. So first thing, never ever hide the menu. Second $1 million question is here. What does this icon stand for? You have no idea? Me neither. But when I tap on it, it's a really useful thing. It's an ink and toner finder. When you think about staples, it's a really useful thing, but users won't come up with an idea if you use ambiguous icons without labels. So every time, add labels to your icons, especially if they're ambiguous. Users won't tap on icons that they don't know what they are representing. Another mistake that I really often see is that users are being redirected on the very top on the menu. And this is pointless because it takes so much time to load every other page. What should you do instead? First, take the whole screen's real estate when users taps on the menu. There isn't much space left on the mobile device, so please take the whole real estate for the menu. The second thing is that you should be like ASOS. When user wants to go back and forth between categories, don't redirect them. Let him move back and forth from one category to another if he made a mistake. Next thing is that you should easily let users X out of the experience. So make the X mark big enough so that it was easy to tap and the users could always close the menu. Remember that users are using mobile devices completely different than their desktop devices. On desktop devices, they've got pointers, and pointers are precise. With precise mouse pointers, you can easily select the smallest radio button, hover over an info box, or click the link that is close to one another. But it's not possible on mobile devices, because there you don't have precise mouse pointers. What you've got instead are fingers, and fingers are clumsy. So make sure that you make tappable elements big enough so they were easy to tap. If user wants to tap the menu, make him easily achieve that. Then, when user gets to the category, put 2 items per row. This will make them easy to scan, because when you put only 1 item per row, then the category is endless, and when you put 3 items per row, then the pictures become so small that it's really incredibly hard to distinguish between them. Another important thing is to enable one-tap narrowing. When users go to hoodies, make him easily switch to jumpers with a simple one tap, just like Zalando does. Then, when users want to narrow down the selection even more, let him use full screen filters, because it will be so much easier for him to narrow the search down. The second reason that your mobile conversion rate is so low is that users don't add products to carts. When you look at the benchmarks, you will learn that around the same share of users get to product pages on both mobile and desktop, and it's around 66-67%. But where the difference is the share of users who add products to carts. This is partly because it's so much harder to find the product that you're looking for, but it's also because mobile product pages suck big time. And when you look at the data, you will learn that mobile add to cart rate is 2 times lower. The first thing you should remember about mobile product pages is that you should never put the name first. What you do want to do instead is put the photo first. Users want to experience the product that you're offering, because we buy with our eyes and not with our minds. We don't need to know what's the name of a product, but we need to know how it looks like. When user will want to see the next photo, what he will do? He will swipe it, because this is something that we are used to from Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. And when user will want to see the details of the photo, he will simply pinch to zoom, because this is what Google Maps has learned him to do. So remember, enable mobile gestures. And then when user will see the photo, will experience it, user will want to learn more about the product. He will want to learn about the price, about the name of the product, about availability. So make sure that you fit the add to cart section with all those information into a single screen, because users don't want to move back and forth around the product page if all those information do not fit into a single screen. And then if you want to push your user a little bit to add product to cart, build urgency by highlighting how many products are left, just like Etsy does. Of course, you won't be able to fit all the information to a single screen. For instance, users will want to learn more about the delivery options, so provide them not on a separate pages just like you do on desktop, but what you should do instead is use full screen top layers. Another important thing to remember is that it's really hard to reach every part of the screen with our thumb, and we don't always use our right hand to navigate, because when you're holding a cup of coffee in your right hand, you're using your left hand to navigate. That's why you should use screen-wide CTAs, and then users will click that add to cart buttons. And you will learn about the third reason why users are not converting on mobile. The reason is that mobile checkouts suck. When you look into the data, you will learn that around 20% more users abandon mobile checkouts in comparison to desktop devices. And that's despite the fact that already 2 times less users have added products to mobile carts than to desktop carts. So first thing, when user starts the checkout experience, he goes to the checkout from the cart, then it should be split into small steps. On desktop devices, single step checkouts usually work well, but on mobile devices, the world is completely different. You want to have small steps that users can quickly accomplish. So what you should try to do is split the checkout into steps and of course limit their number. Another thing is, when user is in the cart, he wants to have access to the full menu and footer, but in the checkout, you want to get rid of those. So what you want to do is to simplify both header and footer in the checkout experience so that users couldn't escape from it so easily. Of course, no matter how good your checkout will be, your checkout abandonment is still going to be high. Even on desktop, it's around 70%. So what do you want to do is get as many emails as you can in order to remarket users with email retargeting campaigns. So ask users in the very beginning of the checkout for their email address. So make this your first checkout step. And last but not least, bake a killer mobile form. What does it mean? First, make it as short as possible. 2. Make use of floating labels. 3. Leverage autofill and tab index. 4. Make fields high enough so it was easy to tab them. And 5. Get the validation right. Go to Simply Hike SEO UK and look at their mobile phone. It's superb and you can really find great inspiration there. And then user will maybe click this buy button that you really so want. But will they really? In fact, your mobile website won't sell until it's blazing fast. And by blazing fast, I mean that it will load in 3 to 5 seconds. If you don't know how fast your website is, go to testmysite.withgoogle.com, enter your domain name, and in a few minutes you'll get a report to learn how fast your website is. In our case, at growcode.com, it loads in 5 seconds, and still we are losing around 20% of our visitors. Why is that? Because users are incredibly impatient on mobile. When you look at bounce rate, it completely soars after 3 seconds. After 3 seconds, users are bored, and bounce rate soars, reaching 38% by the time load times hits 5 seconds. So if you want your users to hit this buy button, you must make your website blazing fast. So make it load in 3 seconds or 5 seconds at maximum. And then, and only then, will they click this buy button that you so much desire. Okay folks, that's all for today. Have a great day and see you in the next episode of Bite Size E-commerce Optimization. Ta-ta!